Centaurs. In Greek mythology, centaurs, or Kentauroi, are half-man, half-horse creatures that inhabited the mountains and forests of Thessaly. Centaurs were said to be primal, existing in tribes and making their homes in caves, hunting wild animals, and arming themselves with rocks and tree branches. There are many origin myths surrounding centaurs. One is that Centaurs, the offspring of King Ixion, mated with the cloud nymph, Thessaly, whom a jealous Zeus created in the likeness of Hera. They spawned centaurs and left them on Mount Pelion, where the daughters of the immortal centaur Chiron nursed them. Centaurs were followers of Dionysus, the god of wine, and were thus known for being savage, rowdy, and boisterous. They were frequently portrayed as being ruled by their bestial halves. They were invited to attend the wedding of their half-brother Pirithous, king of Lapith, and became severely drunk during the festivities. They attempted to carry off the bride and the other female guests. The hero Theseus happened to be present at the wedding and aided Pirithous. A battle broke out, and most of the centaurs were killed. Centaurs were creatures that represented chaos and barbarism. Their likeness and proclivity for trouble were frequently described in Greek sculptures, myths, stories, and pottery. While boasting a bestial and lustful reputation, some centaurs only acted in such a way under the effects of wine and alcohol, which may have served as a cautionary tale to the ancient Greeks. The best known and considered the most civilized centaur was Chiron, who was incredibly wise and served as a tutor and advisor to heroes like Hercules, Achilles, and Jason. Unfortunately, he was only a minor character in Greek mythology, so though mentioned often, very little is known about him. He was the son of Philyra and the Titan god, Cronus, and he married the nymph Chariclo. Chiron resided in the forests of Mount Pelion. Chiron was responsible for Achilles' adolescent education, and Achilles was gifted a formidable pelican ash spear from his tutor, which he used during the Trojan War. Chiron was known for not indulging in drinking, having superior knowledge to his brethren, and having a different lineage than the other centaurs. Centaurs permeate Greek myths and can be found throughout epic sagas and Greek stories. In one instance, a tribe dwelling in the western Peloponnese came into conflict with the hero Hercules, where the centaur Pholos hosted Hercules while he was hunting for the giant boar, one of his required laborers. Attracted by the smell of the wine Pholos and Hercules were drinking, other centaurs interrupted the festivities and eventually, spurred on by intoxication, attacked Hercules. In the mayhem, Hercules accidentally poisoned Chiron with a poisoned arrow, and Pholos was killed after accidentally dropping one on his foot. Here is yet another tale of the centaur's overindulgence and the repercussions of wine. While immortal, the poison caused Chiron terrible pain, and when Hercules asked for the freedom of Prometheus from Zeus, he had to make a trade. Chiron volunteered in Prometheus's place and died free from the pain he endured. The centaurs were a popular beast in Greek mythology, often depicted as barbarians and uncivilized, or as famous characters and teachers in the legends of the Greeks' favorite heroes, Chiron and Pholos. Nessos. A third centaur we know by name is Nessos, or Nessus, who also foolishly picked a fight with Hercules. The hero and his new wife, Deianira, attempted to cross the river Events, or Eunos, on their way to Tiryns. Nessos offered to carry the girl across the water, but halfway across he molested his charge. Hercules, in a typically decisive response, swiftly fired one of his poisoned arrows at the centaur, although most pottery scenes of the myth depict Hercules with a club or sword. In his dying breath, Nessos tricked Deianira by telling her to collect some of his blood, now poisoned because of the arrow, keep it in a jar away from the sun, and use it as a love potion if Hercules' love should ever wane. Much later, with rumors of an affair between her husband and Iole, Deianira, in order to win back Hercules' affections, smeared a cloak with the blood of Nessos. However, when the hero put on the cloak, he was driven mad by the agony of the poison on his skin. In despair, Deianira killed herself, and without any hope of a cure, Hercules threw himself on a funeral pyre on Mount Oetae. In a happy ending to the tragedy, Hercules was given an immortal place on Mount Olympus, where he married Hebe, the goddess of youth. Representations in art. A centauromachy, that is, a battle between centaurs and gods or heroes, was a popular subject for decorative sculpture on ancient Greek buildings, particularly temples. The most celebrated example is without doubt from the west pediment of the Temple of Zeus at Olympia, c. 460 BCE. Here the centaurs, again after a bout of drinking, fight the Lapiths, from northern Thessaly, at the wedding of their chief Perithous to Data Maya, and they attempt to abduct the bride. The protagonists are all involved in a lively struggle and strike dramatic, entangled postures. Apollo majestically dominates the center of the piece, standing tall and with arms outstretched. He brings calm to the chaos brought about by the uncivilized centaurs. The centaurs here represent the struggle between barbarism and civilization and may specifically be a metaphor for Greece's victory over Persia in the early 5th century BCE. Centaurs are also represented on several metopes of the Parthenon, on the bronze shield of the bronze Athena by Phidias, and on the sandals of the cult statue of Athena inside the Parthenon. In addition, both the temple at Phos del Sele, Sicily, and the Temple of Athena at Assos are decorated with a centauromachy in sculpture. Centaurs are a popular subject in Greek pottery decoration. Hercules fighting Nessos first appears on a 7th century black figure amphora and appears on close to 100 surviving vases. Chiron at the wedding of Thetis and Peleus and Achilles being handed into the care of Chiron are frequent representations on Attic black figure and red figure pottery from the 6th to 5th centuries BCE. Similarly popular are scenes depicting Hercules' battle with the centaurs after dining with Pholos, the first appearing on Corinthian vases of the 6th century BCE. Centaurs also appear in company with Dionysus and in depictions of his associated festivals. Finally, there are also rare representations of Medusa as a centaur, for example on an amphora from Boeotia, c. 660 BCE. Origins. The father of the centaur race was Centaurus, himself the offspring of Ixion, who had made love to Hera, or more precisely, a cloud made by a jealous Zeus to resemble Hera. The centaurs were believed to live in the forests of Thessaly, beyond the laws of man. These mythical creatures may actually have had a basis in reality, as there was a tradition in Thessaly of hunting bulls on horseback, and the very word centaur may have originally meant bull killer. Perhaps the horsemen of Thessaly were so skilled that they seemed at one with their horse, and so the myth of a single creature was born.